Do you ever feel like you're leaving money on the table by releasing content all at once across all of your platforms? It might actually be true. Today I want to go into the idea of cascading content and how you can do it across all of your multiple platforms to maximize your earnings and revenue. Cascading content is this idea of slowly releasing content across all of your platforms, first with your highest priority platforms, maybe the ones you call home and make the most revenue on, slowly to your lowest earning platforms, finishing with your clip stores. The reason it works like this is because new content is the easiest to monetize. We all have these fan bases that are super eager and super excited to see the newest thing that we released. And when you release it in a strategic way, giving it to that most eager part of your audience first, and then trickling it to all of your other platforms where people maybe convert a little bit lower or less easily, that is really how you cascade content. The way I rank my platforms is my home platform first. So the platform where I earn the most, for me, that's OnlyFans. That is getting my new releases, and that is the platform I prioritize new content with. You can also prioritize and cascade content in the way you deliver it, the delivery system. So prioritizing new content in PPVs first before it hits the feed on your home platform. Again, for me, OnlyFans, that's another way to cascade content. Now, after you release the content to your core platform where you earn the most revenue, you're going to then cascade it to the next second highest earning platform. For me, that looks like Fincentro. After you cascaded it to your second platform, you cascade it to the third. And you set up time intervals between each of these cascades. So if you release it, the first week of the month on OnlyFans or your home platform, maybe you're publishing it the second week of the month to something like Fincentro or your secondary platform. You're going to do this across all of your platforms till you get to the very end. This might be weeks and weeks and weeks later than the original publishing date on your home platform. But when you get to the end, the ultimate settling place for all of your content should be in a clip store. The reason for this is that clips get sold even while you're sleeping. It's this residual source of income. And having that content hit the clip stores last means that your audience who really wants to engage in your newest content as soon as possible is required to be on your subscription sites or the places where they have to subscribe and pay monthly to access that new content. So you want to prioritize that business model first because all of the rest can follow suit afterwards. It's a really strategic way of dripping your content slowly across all of your platforms. To really paint the picture of what a cascade might look like, I'm going to give you my exact example. So when my core content publishes, it's brand new for the first time, it's going to go out in a PPV locked message on OnlyFans. This is going to get it to my highest spending fans right to their inbox so that they can unlock it and enjoy it as early as possible. This for them is the special treat. Those are the spenders that will spend on any content, the diehard fans. So you want to capitalize on that core part of your audience, the loyalist portion, first by sending it out in a locked PPV DM. After that, that content can then slowly release to your feed in whatever time interval makes sense for you. If I release something in PPV DMs, I'll release it to my feed on OnlyFans a month later. This gives it a chance to breathe, let people unlock it. Maybe they didn't get to it the first week when I put it out in the DM. So I'll work it into my feed post schedule about a month after it goes out in PPV DMs. Now after that, I'm going to cascade that same content. It's been a month now since it's published. It's got out in DMs. 30 days later, it's hit my OF feed. And now I'm going to cascade that content over to Fincentro, my second fan site platform that I can call home. So when it goes to Fincentro, I'm going to run the same process. It's going to go out in a locked PPV. And then about 30 days later, it's going to hit the Fincentro feed. The next stop on my content cascade is going to be SWCEO. SWCEO, this is going to go out in a message to fans directly. So it's going to be happening in the actual one-on-one exchanges. I'm going to be upselling it in normal everyday conversation. There's not a lot of strategy built out around this except for leading those conversations for them to be interested or ask for that specific content that I'm publishing. And this is happening 60 days or later over on SWCEO. So it's released first on OnlyFans and that ecosystem, secondary on Fincentro, and now we're beyond the 60-day mark and I'm sending it out in locked messages over on SWCEO. Now, for me, I prioritize SWCEO and Slushy almost exactly the same, so I don't really cascade between the two. When it's available to be sent in a locked message on SWCEO, I will send it often the same time on Slushy. Only because I don't really consider those my core fan audience. They're not the hardest core fans. They're more like passively purchasing and converting. So for them, I can release it at the same time. It just doesn't make any difference to me in terms of my strategy. Beyond that, it's going to go to live on the clip store. And this is really the last stop for my content, in my opinion. When it gets to ManyVids, to my clip store, that's when my content is going to be able to be sold a la carte. People can purchase it without any kind of subscription or interaction with me. And this is really the passive way that I earn revenue in terms of my content. And I say passive because this is where someone can go and purchase content even when I'm asleep, even when I'm not engaging with them. It's the most hands-off way that I sell my content. So I like to put it at the very end of my drip because I want to make sure I monetize that content as much as possible, as many times as possible, and across as many platforms as possible before it ends up in my clip store. Because in an ideal world, a customer that's purchasing things on a clip store is not likely to like the subscription model. They're not likely to be repeat customers. Maybe they purchase a clip here and there, but they're not like consistently, eagerly looking for clips. Probably because I just don't prioritize the clip store business model. It's a last stop for my content. That's just a choice I've made in my business. But for me, that's where the cascade will end and where my content will go to be parked and live and continue to make passive revenue for me. It's kind of like once it lands in my clip store, I'm not eagerly promoting and trying to monetize it at that point anymore. It's just kind of going there to live and do its own thing and hopefully passively earn me some revenue. So that's kind of more or less what my cascades have looked like. They started on my home platform being OnlyFans, gone on my secondary being Fansentio, gone to Sexmanther and Slushy around the same time, and then ultimately landed in my clip store where it can sell on its own passively and make me some residual income. That for me is what a content cascade looks like. Now, do I always abide by this model? No. I try to keep up with it if I'm ahead. If I'm producing content really consistently, I can maintain my cascade because something new is always publishing everywhere across platforms and it performs really well. When I fall off of content creation and I'm not publishing as much as I should be, or I'm not publishing to the right schedule that I should be, that's when my cascade kind of comes to a screeching halt, and that's okay. It's okay to stop your cascade, to try to sell things across platforms as often and urgently as you can if revenue demands that you need that. So don't feel pressure to always maintain a cascade or to always schedule out your content in this way. If it's not sustainable for you, it's actually not going to work. So what you should focus on as an adult creator is really picking and choosing the most sustainable way for you to sell content. If it's just easier for you to schedule everything across all your platforms to publish at the same time, that's okay. You don't have to cascade if it's just this extra thing to think about or this extra stress and overwhelm on your adult business. We have a lot going on in terms of being adult creators. There's a lot of components to our business, and if this is just adding a little bit of overwhelm or one more thing to think about, you can put it off and you can do it at a later date when your business is in a better place to maybe handle this sort of thing. It's not going to change your revenue all that much. It's just a better, more intentional way to use your content so that you can maximize as much earning on it as possible. So I hope this explains the content cascade strategy and that you can implement it for yourself or your business when the time is right, and only you are going to know when that is. I hope this has been useful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.